You're driving alone late at night. Suddenly, flashing police lights appear in your rearview mirror. You pull over. At that moment, there's probably only one thing on your mind. It's just a routine traffic stop. After all, the person standing outside your window is a police officer. But what if the person who was supposed to protect you was actually the one you needed protection from?
911, what's your emergency?
The California Highway Patrol, better known as the THP, has long been regarded as one of America's most respected law enforcement agencies. For decades, millions of drivers trusted its officers to keep them safe on the road. But in 1986, a single case would forever change how many people viewed that badge. This is the story of 20-year-old Cara Knott and the night she never made it home. On the night of December 27, 1986, 20-year-old Cara Knott was driving south on Interstate 15 from her boyfriend's home in Escondido, California, to her parents' home in El Cajon, when Peyer, who was on duty in a marked CHEP patrol car, directed not to pull off the freeway on an isolated, unfinished off-ramp. It was later discovered that Peyer also had been harassing a number of other female drivers in the same area and pulling them over on the same off-ramp, and was supposedly trying to pick them up as dates. In the Knott case, it was thought that the situation escalated to physicality when Knott threatened to report Peyer for his inappropriate actions. When he attempted to grab her, she slashed and scratched at his face. Peyer then bludgeoned her with his flashlight and strangled her to death with a rope. He then threw her body over the edge of an abandoned bridge, where she fell into the brush below. After all these events, detectives found a yellow thread on Cara and sent it to the laboratory for testing. Subsequently, they examined Officer Peyer's uniform and discovered a yellow thread on the department logo on his collar. They placed the two threads side by side, and tests confirmed that they were the same. Another interesting tidbit is that Cara's father, Sam Knott, set up a memorial garden to victims of violent crime in the ravine her body was found, and he died there of a heart attack in 2000. The memorial garden is still there.
It was 3 days after Christmas, 1986, a deserted, lonely area under the I-15 freeway at Mercy Road, an exit that led nowhere. That's where police found the lifeless body of Cara Knott, a pretty San Diego State honor student whose family had been frantically searching for her all night. She had been strangled, her body tossed off the old Highway 395 bridge. Police found the body after family members spotted the Volkswagen early on the morning of the 28th.
The main unanswered question is how she was able to be either duped or conned into stuffing, and we don't know why.
Knott's anguished family made several appeals to the public to help solve the brutal murder, which no one could understand. At the time, though no one came forward who'd seen anything the night of the killing, several women called police and said they'd had an unusual experience with a highway patrol officer who'd pulled them off the freeway and spent an hour or more in some cases talking to them about personal things. The stops all had two things in common. They were at Mercy Road, and the officer was Craig Peyer.
I know. I didn't even do it.
It was 2.5 weeks after the murder that homicide detectives went to Peyer's Poway home and led him away in handcuffs. That a highway patrolman would be charged with murder was as shocking to the community as Cara Knott's murder had been.
As he was leaving, I said, it must have been quite a night for you, and he said it was one hell of a night.
At the trial, Craig Peyer sat silently through weeks of testimony, as prosecutor Joe Van Orshoven wove a case that was largely circumstantial. Scratches on Peyer's face, a rope in the trunk of his CHP car, which could have been used to strangle Knott, the women who testified about their odd encounters with Peyer, fibers in Knott's fingernails which could have come from Peyer's uniform, and a medical examiner who contradicted himself in testifying about Knott's autopsy. Two other prosecution witnesses, surprise witnesses who came forward during the trial, gave shaky accounts of how they allegedly saw Peyer pull over a white Volkswagen like Cara Knott's the night of the murder. Defense attorney Robert Grimes skillfully sowed the seeds of doubt in the jury's mind with his low-key style. In the end, he'd done his job. The jury was out 7 days wrestling with the decision, and they came back deadlocked 7-5 in favor of conviction.
Trying to reach a decision in this?
No.
Judge Richard Huffman declared a mistrial. Afterwards, the jury foreman summed up the experience.
A lot of us felt that we failed.
For the retrial, DA Ed Miller appointed a new prosecutor, Paul Pfingst, a former Brooklyn prosecutor who specialized in murder cases and had a high conviction rate. Like Grimes, Pfingst has a low-key, effective style. It appeared at the start of the second trial that the attorneys were evenly matched in this very difficult case.
Every day of the trial has been like attending Cara's funeral over and over and over again, and reliving the agony of her horrible murder. Until Cara's murderer is convicted, we will not be able to pull our lives back together again.
Chris Saunders, News 8.